This is Cary Duke.
How are network marketers like us supposed to rank, advance, and build a downline without begging our friends and family or having supermodel good looks? My mind was blown when I realized that the top network marketers aren't calling their friends and families to invite them to lame hotel meetings and in-home meetings. I've spent the last 2 years learning from and dissecting the system that top earners in the industry use. Follow me on the journey as I continue to learn and implement the top marketing tips and strategies to grow my downline. This is Sarah Peterson, and you're listening to MLM Marketing Explosion.
I'm so excited that he's part of the show today, and I'm so excited for you guys to get to know him if you don't already. So Cary's one of those people that I was so impressed with. He took, this is my disclaimer, I have absolutely no idea what Cary does. However, he did the One Funnel Away Challenge, and he challenged it. He put together a summit with 2 Comma Club winners, and he did it in 30 days. Yeah, you guys totally heard me. He went from zero to done in 30 days. And I see people, asking all the time, can I do it? Can it be done? It can be done, but you got to have drive. So when I saw what he was doing, I was like, holy cow, that's super impressive. I totally want to know who Cary Duke is. And I want to know how he did it, what he'd do different. I was so inspired. I thought that was crazy. So I don't know, a little bit of background, where'd you come from? Where'd you come up with the idea? I just think that's so cool.
Okay. My background, look, I'm one of those guys that hit the wall and said, I can no longer be employed. I am totally unemployable. Okay. What does that mean? That means I went into work one day, and I've been in face-to-face sales for forever. Okay. I mean, literally forever. And I went into work one day. We had this Saturday morning meeting, and they were like discussing all of this crap that we needed to do. And I'm like, man, you guys just don't know a thing about direct response marketing. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. It's like, you're doing all the wrong things. You're saying all the wrong things. You're asking us to do all the wrong things. And I said, I'm done. I'm done. And I went home, and I told, my significant other that I quit. And she's like, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, I don't know. I said, I'm going to try this digital marketing thing. I said, I've been looking at it since 1998. I built my first website in like 2001. And I've been, I just been messing around. I've been totally a big fan of marketing, right? Totally a big fan of marketing. Claude Hopkins and Johnny Kennedy and, Eugene Schwartz. I mean, those are my heroes. So Dan Kennedy, I've been all over those guys for 20 years. And I said, look, I think there's a way that I can help businesses make money, helping them get, more visibility online. And so that's what I'm going to do. So, as a backstory, I've got all this sales experience. I've been studying all this marketing, and I started with nothing, like no money, no time, tons of pressure. And I made my first $1,000 in a week. And all I did was pick up the phone and said, hey, I can help you get more visibility online and make your phone ring. Are you interested in a phone call? Are you interested in having a meeting, an appointment? Like, yeah. So I had 3 meetings. I closed one of them for $1,000, and I've been doing this full time for 9 years. I mean, that's what I do. SEO, lead generation. But here's why I'm in ClickFunnels. I don't want to do that. I'm tired. I'm tired of, client requests. I'm tired of, battling Google with their, daily changes. It's like, all right. I got introduced to Stephen Larson. My buddy, my mentor, took the One Funnel Away Challenge in September. And I was like, we're going to get into that story as well, okay, about why I haven't been involved with ClickFunnels or anything. But he took the One Funnel Away Challenge, and, we talk almost daily. And he's like, man, you have got to hear this information, about what this guy's saying, and so he sends me over little snippets of video. And it's like, damn, this is pretty interesting. It's like, here's this kid, he's all fired up, he's very passionate. And, So I started listening to his his sales funnel radio. No, that's Russell Brunson. Whatever Stephen Larson's YouTube channel is. I started picking out different videos. I started listening to him, and it's like, man, this guy resonates. I can hear Claude Hopkins come through his marketing message, right? I can hear the foundations of it. So it's like, okay, he's at least on point with that, on top of his personality and his enthusiasm. And I just got reinvigorated, really. I got reinvigorated. I got reenthused. I said, you know what? I've been thinking about which direction I want to go. What do I want to talk about? And what do I like to do? And, we took a trip. All right. We took a trip Thanksgiving weekend to see, the elderly father of my significant other. We went all the way to Northwest Arkansas, right? I made her drive all the way there and all the way back because I'm in the books. I'm reading, I'm studying, and I'm thinking, it's like right there, right at the, the tip. I got this idea, and I'm thinking about how do I do this, and what do I talk about? How do I formulate this? What is it? And I get back, and that Monday after Thanksgiving, Stephen Larson has this epic 3-hour, plus, Facebook Live on ClickFunnels Official. And he is just, all between the ears. It's like, if you're not doing this, it's you. It's not this, it's not that. It's like you. And to make a decision, do something. And then he goes into his how you can make money fast, and he gives all these different methods, right? One of the things is you could do a virtual summit. I'm like, I like that. And it's like, it's like it crystallized everything at that point in time. It's like I could see every single piece of it. I knew who I was going to talk to. I knew what I was going to talk about. I knew how I was going to put it together. And, that thing ended about 4:00. By 5, I had my first, 50, messages out to 2 Comma Club winners. It's like, and there we go. All right. So a little bit about the backstory, how I got here. I mean, it's like, there I am. My first set of messages got a response, and then that response elicited some questions. Okay. So what I came up with was an ability to give them what I'm doing, the reasons I'm doing it, and how they would benefit all in one message. Those people who that resonates with responded and wanted to join in and be part of the conversation. I mean, look, I worked my ass off to get those 23 people. Let's not kid ourselves. It wasn't like, I sent out a few emails and, poof, we have a, speaker panel. No, it wasn't like that at all.
I think that's awesome. I love that you immediately took action, because I think sometimes that's the hardest thing is you'll get this idea and then you talk yourself out of it. And when you talk yourself out of it, it's gone. And instead of talking yourself out of it, you said, nope, it's done. We're in, here we go. And I think that's super, super, super cool. Was that an idea that you've been kind of playing around with, and all of a sudden you heard that and it was like all the pieces fall into place? Or was it like it's now?
No, I'd actually been thinking about starting a podcast. Okay. And I thought, well, if I start a podcast with 0 audience and just me talking, I don't have any authority. I don't have any credibility. I'm going to have to build that up over time. And then he said virtual summit to build up your authority and credibility overnight. I thought, you know what? I can do the summit. I can record the interviews, and then that will also be content for my podcast, right? And so I can jumpstart the whole thing. So, that's where I started off. So, I'm circling back and taking some of those interviews, and I will be doing my podcast, excuse me, and starting off with that as my podcast. And so then when I then go out and, to my, ideal Dream 100, which I will be doing, I will then have this list of people that I've already spoken with, that some of them will be recognizable.
sometimes you hear about these 2 Comma Club winners, or somebody did something, it's like, I could never do that. And I'm not diminishing what these guys have done, because they are absolutely amazing.
Yep.
But all of a sudden they're human, which means if they're human and they can do it, I can do it too. What's one of the biggest things you learned as you did all these interviews? Was there like one big takeaway, or was it like every interview was a new takeaway? Or
well, let's face it. I mean, some of them are going to be better than others, right? But the largest takeaway of the entire interview series, because I did actually 25 of these, 23 with the 2 Comma Club. Michael Haig, who's the legendary Hollywood screenwriting coach, works with Will Smith, Russell Brunson's story mentor. All right, and then I had this podcaster on, Emily Brokup, and she was talking about how to do a podcast, and how you can start real simply and how to do it. So I had these 25 people, and the biggest takeaway was that these people they don't have any more knowledge than I have. They don't really have any more drive than I have, but they were able to click on that one thing and then just drive it home. And it's like, you know what? I can do this. It's like, so instead of having a goal of, like 6 figures or something, it's like, no, I want a 2 Comma Club award, and there's no reason I can't get one. You're saying like they're people, and yeah, not only are they people, as a group, the most humble, the most helpful, and the most willing people I've ever run across, ever. I mean, they're a fantastic group of people.
So how did you decide who you were going to talk to? Because that can be really scary and really daunting. I know you said that you approached it from, what's in it for you, not for you, but for them,
right.
Which I think you have to, because I think sometimes it's really easy to go, well, this is all about me, or this is all about a sale, or this is all about, and when you do that, it goes nowhere and you look like a jerk. But how did you decide who you wanted to be a part of it? Because for anybody who's listening and doesn't know, it was all about stories, right? And how to tell the stories, where they came from. I think tell us a little bit about that, actually.
Well, that gets back to the Thanksgiving trip, right? And what I had been thinking about is, like, as I told my mentors, like, the thing that I love to do is talk about marketing. All right, I love to talk about marketing, and so it's like, well, how do I make that thing that I like to do? How do I make that the thing that I do? It's like, so as I couldn't quite get it, on that trip. I couldn't quite. It's like, yeah, I want to talk about stories. I want to talk about marketing, and the whole, ethos, pathos, logos thing from all the way back in the Socrates time. This stuff has been around forever, right? And I want to talk about that. How do I take that desire and then how do I turn that around? And so when he talked about when Stephen talked about the virtual summit, it's like, I don't know, it's like a lightning bolt. It's like, you know what? I can talk to these guys about their stories. Russell Brunson has been a fantastic promoter of the fact that you need to tell stories. You need to tell lots of stories. And when you listen to Stephen Larson, he's nothing but story also, because, he's a protege, right? And it's like, that's the thing. That is the thing I'm going to talk about is with them, is like, I want to know how you developed your story and put it into your marketing, and use that, to lever, your result. And so that is actually what I asked them, so the people that responded, and I didn't hand pick those speakers. I blasted them all. Okay. I blasted them all. And those that responded were interested in talking about that. Yeah. So, it's like I picked out this narrow little thing to talk about, And that's what we did.
I know you mentioned that things didn't go quite the way you'd anticipated. I think when you start something, it's like, it's just going to be unicorns and lollipops. And I mean, you literally did it from 0 to 30. Would you do it again? Would you set a bigger time frame? Were there things that you know now that you wish you'd known at the beginning?
Yes, yes, yes. Look, going in, you have a set of hopes and expectations that and goals that you want to meet, right? Obviously, there's the deadline. I set that date. I set it hard because if I set that hard, fast deadline, then I know how to backtrack everything and get it ready. Well, I had success, right? I was able to get I got the 25 speakers. I had those interviews and those went great. I can't say how great they went because they were fantastic. I believe I was able to generate that credibility and that authority with those folks. And then, when people see the interviews, I think I'm in alignment with that. There were learning curves. Okay. Look, I thought I put together a really good funnel for it. I thought the speaker pages looked awesome. I thought the interview pages looked awesome. I thought the opt-in page looked awesome. Shout out to Blake Newbar. I bought his funnel, through the marketplace and had a question. He picked up the phone. It's like, hey, how can I help? Right. He was also one of my speakers. But the challenge that I really there was two of them. Okay. I'm so giddy about the fact that I have all of these these 2 Comma Club award winners that I'm going back into the ClickFunnels community. I forgot to tell a story about why that mattered. So my marketing copy didn't have a story or a hook or an offer. So it's like, I'm so maybe, and like I said, I was sick, right? So maybe that was part of it. But I'm sitting there putting all this stuff together, and I'm thinking, oh, this is wonderful. And then I get to the looking at my Facebook ads, and I'm looking at what's going on there, and I was like, I'm not getting the traffic. I'm not getting the opt-ins. And so I'm like, I call up my mentor. I say, hey man, what is going on? He said, well, let me take a look. He's like, well, you kind of forgot the thing that you actually want to talk about. So I had to rewrite the headlines. I had to rewrite it in the story, kind of, rework some things. But ultimately, I had two things that I couldn't overcome. And one was I didn't give myself enough lead up time, enough promotion time to build up the pressure that would allow an audience, okay, or sufficiently large audience to accomplish the other goals, the exposure and the sales, okay. So been an improvement there. And then I had a couple of technical quirks where the day that my summit started, if you went to the opt-in page, which you had to do to get into the summit, it redirected to say this material's not available. So, and then the second thing that I had a mistake was in my Facebook ads. I'd actually created 100 different video ads, right? And so I've got all these ads, and every one of them with this video concept is like, really small dollar amount per day. But I also didn't change my campaign budget. It was at $2 a day also. So nobody saw the ads. So 2 large mistakes, two bits of learning curve there. However, I have this entire virtual summit package now, and I'm going to add things to it, and I'm going to relaunch. All right, I'm going to add an affiliate process. I think would be an important thing, because I think as Jordan Franz said to me, "Hey, dude, incentive works better than favors." He was one of the speakers. Incentive works, he says, how did he phrase it? Favors only last so long, incentives work better.
Right.
So, yeah, thanks, Jordan.
That's awesome. Well, you did hit speed bumps. Still, the message is there. You did it in 30 days. And I think, you can look at it and go, if I'd had this time or if I'd had that. But if you're anything like me, sometimes when I put like, there's no deadline, there is no deadline. And so it's just something that's like, I don't know when I get around to it.
Yeah.
So I think that's so inspiring. I love that you took something and you have something created. You have something that when you relaunch, I'd love to come back on and do this again, after you've launched it again and, talk about how it went then. And of course, put that link out, for my audience as well, because that's awesome. I think there's worry that you're going to get stuck in this weird learning loop, and there is. But I love that that when you finally figured out what you wanted, you just went.
I wanted, the real driver of this was I wanted to create this summit to create the income, so I don't have to come out of my pocket to go to Funnel Hacking Live, right? And so in order to do that, I had a very short time period. It's like, that was why I did it in 30 days as opposed to taking 2 or 3 months. I mean, if I were, look, I did a virtual summit. I did a virtual summit, right? I mean, from start to scratch. I have my own template now for a virtual summit. I've got my daily pages. I paid a guy to help me build up the daily interview pages, and he put a time gate on there. And I found an awesome resource. I mean, this guy is awesome, and he's cheap. I mean, he's really, really inexpensive. And so, it's like, so I found some resources. I found where I can get transcription done really, really cheap. I found, the ability to create these video ads, and I found all of these things. So I can go do another virtual summit. All right. I am totally confident in my skill set of the entire thing. I also have this incredible bonus to give away if I want to do an affiliate thing. I've got this incredible bonus where you can go and get all access pass to this virtual summit, which includes a master class on how to create a story. It includes a book, how to read literature like a professor, which really gives you the ability to understand how to draw things in from the past that other people will know. Like if I mention Little Red Riding Hood, you all of a sudden have this entire story of the wolf, the little girl, in the red hood, right, with the basket going to meet grandma. You've got all that, right? So, if you understand those kind of things, you can add those into your stories, and immediately people can make that emotional connection with your story because they have that thing that they can draw on, right? So there's that book. So I'm also giving away a PDF of Scientific Advertising by Claude Hopkins, because I think it's one of the foundational books on direct marketing. I mean, I know Russell Brunson, it has that. I mean, he studies it. So, you get all of that, right? When you get access to this all access pass, plus the videos, plus the interviews. So I've got this great bonus I can give away, which if, everybody's doing that one funnel away challenge right now, right? I don't know when this is going to air, but if anybody wanted that kind of a bonus, guess what I have? So anyway, so I can go create another one. And, I'm looking at, I told you I was kind of tired of the SEO game and the local marketing game. And so I'm looking at, well, how can I take my experience as a marketer, my experience with virtual summits, and then go and create a different opportunity? And so what I'm looking at is going to the offline world, the world that's not associated with internet marketers, and showing them, hey, you don't have to do an annual trade show and wait a year to gather your people together, to gather your vendors together, and have this educational summit where everybody can meet. We can do this virtually online, and I can do it for you. So that's one of the things I'm exploring going into 2019.
That's so cool. And you didn't have that idea before you'd come through doing that whole summit, did you? Or was that always?
Hell no. I thought, well, look, all I wanted to do was start a podcast and talk about marketing. Okay. That was it. I didn't have anything else after that. It's like, what do I do? What do I sell? How do I do it? It's like, well, now I have something to talk about. Now I have some direction that actually has, a financial, wherewithal. And, when you start talking about that Dream 100, who am I going to go out and interview? I'm going to go out and interview those influencers to talk about stories and talk about marketing with an eye to actually then going back in and having an opportunity to sell them something.
I think it's really easy when you want to start something to look like it's the finished product. And it's like, if I don't know where I want this to end, or if I don't know exactly what I want to do with this, or if I don't know, that's another excuse of not to start. Because it's like, well, this is a great idea, but I don't know what I do with it, or I don't know where it lead. And so I love that you did not know where it was going to lead, and all of a sudden it's opened all these doors that weren't even in the building when you started. I just think that's awesome. What was your favorite thing about, we kind of talked about the things that kind of didn't go the way you'd expected. What was maybe, what were some of the things that totally went the way you thought they would?
I think that the interviews themselves, okay. I was, look, I've been around. Look, I've got white on my beard and gray on my hair. I've been around a while. I've been in that, that face-to-face sales area for a long time. And so I was really confident of my ability to have the interviews and be able to speak. But what I didn't know was how, and this is again, patting myself on the back and, breaking my arm in doing so. And in my opinion, I thought, going back over the interviews as I'm editing them, I thought, well, I did a really good job of actually being an equal in the interview. Yeah, because I'm looking at these folks, especially like Michael Haig, right? This guy works closely with Russell Brunson a couple years ago. He works with Will Smith. He works with all kinds of movie stars and getting their scripts, in screenplays done correctly. He's a legend. He's a legend. And yet we're having this conversation like two guys having a couple of beers. And so I think that was, probably the thing that I liked the most is the ability that, come across as an equal.
Major 30 seconds of braveness to get brave enough to reach out to him.
Yeah, pretty much. And I was having so much success getting these two Comic Club award winners. I thought, what the hell? And truth be told, I might have had a whiskey when I wrote that email.
I love where you're going. I love what you did with it. I can't wait until your summit launches and get to watch it. I think, I've noticed that there's one thing in common, as I've done the interviews too, and maybe you did the same, is, it doesn't seem to matter what level they're at. When you're good at something, there's always another level or somewhere else you could take it or something else you want to do. And I think that's awesome too. And I think it also goes the flip side is, I don't know how you look at yourself, but it'd be really easy to look back and go, man, I screwed this up, or I screwed that up, or this didn't work out the way I wanted to. Heck, the people didn't see the summit that even should have seen the summit. And yet there are people that are watching you going, if I could just be Cary Duke.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? And I think that happens to everybody. And I don't think people are ever aware of it. They just see everything that they don't like about where they are.
Well, look, I mean, I know that, there's this discussion that happens on ClickFunnels frequently about, well, you should only be having a coach that's got skins on the wall, right? That is true. Okay. You should only talk with, work with people that are having a level of success that is verifiable. I agree with that. But I also think that there are levels of that success ladder, right? All right. So, if somebody comes in and they're brand new to ClickFunnels, are they ready to spend $50,000 to join Russell Brunson's inner circle? I'm going to say no. They're not ready. They don't understand ClickFunnels. They don't understand marketing. They don't have anything that they could profit off of immediately by spending $50,000, except, to rub shoulders with Russell Brunson. All right. But does that do the rest of his group any good? No, it doesn't add any value to the rest of his group. So then you come down. Let's say that Steven Larson's the next ladder down, right? All right. So then you say, and I don't know what Steven Larson charges, right, to coach. I mean, I don't know. But you say that, well, if he is the next level down, it's like, well, am I ready? Am I ready for him, right? Do I know enough about these things to be able to pay him to work with as a coach? You say, well, maybe not, right? Right. So then you go down, and I'm going to say that the next level down, let's say Austin Dixon. All right. So Austin Dixon is a protege of Steven Larson. So you've got this coaching ladder, Russell Brunson, Steven Larson, Austin Dixon. It's like, well, are you even ready for Austin Dixon? Austin Dixon is a fantastic guy, great information, charges a decent amount of money, but it's not the same amount of money that Steven Larson charges. It's not the same amount of money that Russell Brunson charges. So are you ready? Where are you in your journey? Right? So, here I am. I'm not, a huge ClickFunnels person because I've come from the SEO world, WordPress, lead generation. I'm doing a totally different thing, right? Now I'm coming in. I want to do this other thing. And so where do I fit in this coaching hierarchy, right? Well, I know I have a specific skill set that I can help people that aren't ready for those other three guys. So I'm like, I'm going to plug myself in here, and then I'm going to move up that ladder, right? But I think everybody can benefit from that kind of thought process. It's like, yeah, Russell Brunson puts out lots of great content. Steven Larson puts out lots of great content. Austin Dixon is starting to put out lots of great content, and that's great. But, at a certain point in time, and this is one of I will say that out of 23 Two Comma Club award winners, they all said this exact same thing. My success didn't really start happening until I got a coach. All right. So at what level do you start thinking you need a coach? And then we're not talking about somebody to help you build a funnel. We're talking about somebody to help you understand marketing, because ClickFunnels is nothing more than a delivery mechanism of your message. And if you can't get your message correct, you're not going to sell anything. You're absolutely not going to sell anything unless your message is there. And this takes us back to the argument of, a pretty funnel versus an ugly funnel. I know there's a mentality out there that says, well, I have to have my funnel pretty. No, you don't. You have to have your message resonate with your audience. And if you can get that right, it doesn't matter what it looks like, because the message, the words, that emotional journey that you take them on will create money. And that's what gets lost between somebody reading, Storytelling Made Easy, or the Dan Sullivan Question, or Daniel Pink and Drive, or Russell Brunson's .com Secrets or Expert Secrets. That's the difference. It's like you can read that book, but if you don't understand what he's actually saying, He's not saying ClickFunnels is the way to go. He's saying that your message is the way to go, and you should use ClickFunnels to deliver your message. But people get that backwards, and I think they need a coach to help them push through that understanding. That's where I come in.
I think you're absolutely right. That's exactly what I did too, and I'm doing too.
Not everybody is Russell Brunson, right? I mean, not everybody can be a state wrestling champion. All right. I mean, that's just a fact, right? Not everybody can be that. Well, not everybody can be the guy who's, I mean, like, I didn't start with marketing and learning that kind of stuff until really I was in, my late 30s, right? I mean, yeah, I was employed. I mean, I worked for GE Capital. I was a financial analyst there. But it's like, all right, when I started getting into marketing, it's like, this is a whole new world. I love this. I love the thought. I love the psychology of it, right? If I put this string of words together in the correct way, it's going to make somebody who reads them want to do something. I mean, that's the essence of what we're doing. We're trying to put these words together in such a way that we create movement on the other end. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's like Steven Larson. Man, I love that dude. I've never met that dude. I've never talked with him, but I love that guy. I love his passion and his ability to break things down. I think it's wonderful. But is he right for everybody? Right? Is he right for everybody? And no. I mean, there are people that are going to gravitate towards males. There's people that are going to gravitate towards females. There's going to be people that gravitate towards, more mature people. There's going to be people that resonate with, the younger ones, that are 21, 22. I can't fathom a guy who's 21 and is making $1 million a year, right? To me, that's like, I don't understand it. But I didn't grow up in that world. I didn't grow up in that world where it was possible for somebody to, reach into the internet and grab $1 million. I did not grow up in that world. I grew up in the world where you were supposed to go to school, you were supposed to go to college, you were supposed to pick out some, future career path, as a major, and then you were supposed to go to work and then buy a house and get married and have kids. And, that was the path, right? That's the traditional path. It's like, I grew up with that, but I didn't have that experience, right? So when we start talking about an origin story, well, I dropped out of college after a junior year. I busted my knee up playing soccer, and I was like, I didn't know why I was there. So 3 years in, I'm like, screw that. I moved to Denver. I got a job at a bank, and it's like I started work. I started at the bottom. I thought, well, if I can get in, I can get up, right? And I did. I was the first guy to go from this low level, thing that we did to getting on to the banking floor. I was the first guy out of that department to go that level. Because I got out, and everyone was like, well, how did you do it? I worked my ass off. Every little crappy job they said that needed to be done, I said, well, yeah, I'll do that, But that's what I did. And, it's like, ultimately, what happened was I got laid off from that bank. I got another job with a Fortune 500 leasing company, and they got bought by GE, and I got laid off from that job. I went to work for another company that then got purchased by GE also. And then they said, well, you can either take this package or you can come over here and work at GE Capital. I said, well, I'll do that. And I worked there for 5.5 years, and never once did I think I had a job for more than 6 months at a time. Never once. And then I went to, a Caterpillar dealer, and I started a collections department from scratch. I mean, from ground up. And we accomplished all 2-year goals in 13 months. And they said, well, you did a great job. We're firing you. We don't need you anymore. All right. And so at that point in time, I said, you know what? Screw it. I don't, this whole go to work for somebody and do a good job and get your 3% raise is like, you know what? Screw it. So I went into sales. I went to a car dealership, 100% commission. And that was what, 96, 97, right? And I've been in either full 100% commission jobs or self-employed ever since. It's like, you know what? If I have no corporate loyalty to me, I'm going to be a gun for hire, right? I'm going to be a gun for hire. It doesn't matter. So I'm responsible for my income, and if I want to make more money, guess what? I can. Even as a car salesman, you can make more money. Go sell different cars, stay longer, sell more, whatever, right? And so that's what I did. Then into mortgages, then into insurance, and then into I did some roofing stuff, But the point is I was 100% commission always after that last firing. I was like, you know what? Nah, not going to happen to me again. So now when I get fired, it's a client saying, well, typically, I'm not sure why I'm paying you anymore because we have all these good results. So go, whatever. So, I don't worry about it anymore. It's like that whole ideal of the American dream of going to school, get a job, go to college, that whole thing it wasn't my experience, right? And if I had that opportunity like that 21-year-old kid does today, holy cow, how much further would I be? I don't know. But I still struggle, internally with the idea that, well, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, but I got to sit down and work. I got to work. It's like I got to sit at the desk. It's like I got to get this desk time in. If I don't get this desk time in, it's like I'm punching a clock, and I don't need to be punching a clock.
I highly recommend, and I'm willing to bet you do too, find a mentor, find a program. It'll cut your learning curve in half. If you don't know who Cary Duke is, and you might not yet, bet you will, make sure that you go check out his Facebook page. When that summit launches again, you're going to want to go hear those stories because there's themes that run through stories. There's themes that run through experiences. And if you're listening, you're going to know how to do yours too. And in the very least, you're going to be inspired. And you're going to know who you need to go look to get the information that you need so that you're on track. Cary, you're awesome. Is there anywhere else they should be looking for you?
No, I think Facebook or LinkedIn would probably be about it. I would say right now, if you really want to get access to the summit that I just had for a really, really inexpensive price, join the One Phone Away Challenge through my link, right? So you get all the Russell Brunson stuff, plus you get all of my virtual summit, plus I have 4 different copywriting books, scientific advertising, the breakthrough advertising secrets. I mean, all the masters. Think and Grow Rich is one of the bonuses. So yeah, I mean, not to pitch too hard, but there's that.
Well, that's really awesome.
Facebook is probably the best place.
Okay, so there you go. You heard it there. So go find him, go follow him, go be friends with him. I'm sure that if, and you're going to want to go get that summit. Thanks so much, Cary Duke. That was awesome.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate the reach out and, being part of this.
Are you tired of bugging your family and friends and bumping into the same people all over social media trying to pitch your opportunity? If so, grab your team members and go to www.marketingexplosion.org and pick up your free copy of MLM Momentum. It's going to teach you how to get people coming to you and applying for your opportunity. It's also going to teach you how to get paid for prospecting. See you soon.